Shiva means auspicious. Shiva means consciousness. Shiva is known as the destroyer. In the Hindu religion, as we know that we have the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwar. That is Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the sustainer or the preserver, and Maheshwar, that is Shiva, the destroyer. So that is the conventional idea that we have about Shiva, one of the Trinity who destroys. Now whenever we hear of destruction, there are some negative feelings which comes that it's not so good, to have this destruction or death or dissolution. We don't want that. But until and unless you have destruction, you cannot come up with a new thing. For example, when a small seed is put in the field inside the ground, inside the earth, after some days we see that it starts sprouting. The sprouting begins. A new life comes out with very beautiful leaves, soft and beautiful leaves. But actually, what is the process which made that leaf come out? Destruction. The seed had to dissolve, and then out of that dissolution came up a creation. So everywhere these three things are going on: creation, sustenance or preservation, and then destruction. This is the Trinity of the Hindu religion, what we say as Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar. So they are all different stages of the same thing. They are not three different things. They are different stages of the same thing. So Shiva means destruction. That means going back to its original form. That means going back to the source, from where it sprouted, from where it sprang up, from where it took birth. And Shivaratri means that auspicious night when this consciousness, Shiva signifies consciousness. Shiva also signifies Guru. Why Guru? Because we know there is another name of Shiva which is very famous, very popular, and that is Nilkantha. Kantha means neck, throat. Nil means blue. Whose throat has become blue? How? By consuming the poison which came out from the churning of the ocean, which took place between the gods and the asuras, the demons. They were churning the ocean. Why? To get ambrosia, to get nectar. But the first thing which came out was not nectar. It was poison. But then when it came out, someone has to accept it. You cannot throw anything out from this world, from this universe. as Bhagavan very beautifully says, that how can you throw something out of this universe? You can throw it out of your house. I can throw the wastage out of my room in the bigger dustbin, and from that to another place, and from that to another place in the city. They will take it, but then it has to be in this very universe. You cannot throw anything out. So before taking nectar, before getting nectar, what came out was poison, and someone had to take that poison. And who took it? None else than Shiva had the capacity to consume and digest that poison. Why? Because, as I said, Shiva signifies Guru. It is only the Guru who can accept the poison that we have within us in our mind. It's not the physical poison. It's the poison of our thought. It's the poison of our mind. And this churning is the churning of the ocean, means the churning within my mind. The gods are the good thoughts, the demons are the evil thoughts, the negative thoughts. And there is this churning always going on. It is always going on. We understand it when we look at ourselves, that this is going on. So this churning goes in order to have that nectar, in order to have that Satchidananda, to have that Sat, truth, existence, absolute, Chit, consciousness, absolute, and Ananda, bliss, absolute. To have that, to discover the Satchidananda within me, I have to churn myself. But the negative thoughts won't allow me so easily. So there will be a tug of war, this churning between the good and the bad. And what comes out is first the poison. It comes out. And nobody but the Guru has the capacity to accept that poison, because somebody has to accept it. The Guru accepts. And then gradually, one by one, many things came up in that churning. And ultimately, nectar came out. That was consumed by the gods. So Shiva signifies Guru, who willingly accepts the poison within us in order to give us the nectar of Satchidananda, the identity of my real self. But before that, the negative things, the negative powers, the negative energy must go out. Who will absorb it? The Guru. And that is why Guru is also Shiva, and Shiva signifies Guru. The Guru is also in the spiritual world known as Shiva. We say in Guru Vandana, Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara. So he is also the Maheshwara, Shiva, who accepts that negative things from. Shivaratri means that auspicious night when we give our utmost effort in order to discover that Shiva within me, that consciousness within me. There are various significance of Shivaratri. one of the conventional idea or one of the conventional significance is that it is the day when Lord Shiva was married to Parvati, his consort. So, but there are deeper significance of this thing. Shiva means, as I said, consciousness, that which is unmanifested Brahman. And in the yogic process, Shiva is said to, the residing place of Shiva is this, Sahasrar we say, the topmost position. And Shakti, Parvati, that is the manifested part of Shiva. They are not two different things. It is the same thing expressed in two different ways. Brahman, when unmanifested, is Shiva. When it is manifested, when it is under the process of creation and action and everything, that is known as Shakti. And as Sri Ramakrishna says, that Shakti and Brahman are not independent from each other. They are not two different things. They are the same thing. Only the states are different. So, the marriage of Shiva and Parvati, what does it signify? It signifies that when this Shakti, which is in the Muladhara, the end part of our spine, there it resides in a Kundalini form, that means in a coiled state. And in spirituality, what we do, we activate that Kundalini. There are various processes, we know, and Kundalini can be awakened knowingly, consciously through yogic process. It also gets awakened by devotion, by knowledge, by action, by any means. But in the yogic process, we do it consciously. But in the Jnana Yoga, or the path of reasoning, the path of devotion, that is Bhakti Yoga, that we don't do it consciously. We follow the path of knowledge or the path of devotion, but it gets activated. And it goes up. So the marriage of Parvati and Shiva, that means when this Kundalini, when this energy goes up and meets the consciousness, the union or the unification of this energy known as Shakti or Parvati. Shakti and Parvati are one and the same, and Shiva or consciousness. When there is this unification, that means when I discover myself, that is Samadhi. When I come to know about my real identity through Samadhi, unification of the individual self with the universal self, and then I come to know that there are not two selves, that one is individual, one is the supreme or the universal, and they two come and mix. It's not that. The individual self is just the reflection of the universals. In reality, the individual self is not there. Always there is the real or the supreme self. The one which we see as individual self is none other than the reflection of the supreme self. So this unification, this is Shivaratri, the night where this Shakti and consciousness unifies. There is also another concept about this Shivaratri, that when this poison came out from the churning of the ocean, as I said, that Someone had to accept it. But who? Because it was so poisonous. It was dangerously poisonous. It was a dangerous poison. And nobody, not even the gods, had the capacity to take it. They did not dare. So they approached to Shiva. And Shiva agreed. Lord Shiva agreed to consume that poison, to accept that poison. And he accepted it. He drank it. And it was so poisonous that even the throat of Shiva, Lord Shiva, became blue by the poison. And from then he was known as Nilakantha, one with the blue throat, due to the poison. So this is also the night when Shiva willingly, for the benefit of mankind, so that we can get the nectar of the self, the Satchidananda, he willingly accepted this poison. So, whatever concept or whatever thing we may believe, but the main thing is what it actually signifies and how far we can implement it in our day-to-day life. To go beyond our selfish means, to go beyond our individual thoughts, to cross the barrier of individuality and to approach that Supreme and to merge with that consciousness. This development, and that is why, normally during Shivaratri, the devotees who perform this worship of Shiva, they do upavas, that is, they do fasting. Actually, fasting is an English word. The real word is upavas. Now, what is upavas? What does upavas signify? Upa means near, and vas means to reside, to stay. To stay near, to stay in proximity. To what? To stay near whom? To stay near what? To stay near the consciousness. To stay near God. To stay near myself, the real self. And the more I approach that real self, the more I approach that consciousness, the more I approach Shiva, the more calm and quiet I become. And that is why we see normally the picture of Shiva, that his eyes are almost closed, just a bit of it. That is, he is one. He is in the unmanifested state, where there is no manifestation, where there is no vibration whatsoever. One undivided consciousness. That is Shiva. And Vedanta says that in our reality, in our real nature, we are all Shiva. Jatra Jiva Tatra Shiva. Wherever there is Jiva, there is Shiva. That means Jiva is itself Shiva. There is no Jiva actually. Everybody, everything, every particle, every atom in this universe is Shiva, is consciousness. And that is what is the proclamation of Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta says that there exists nothing but Atman, Brahman. There is nothing second but Atman or Brahman. Whatever we see, whatever we feel, whatever, the manifested, the unmanifested. In whatever form, in whatever state it is Shiva. We are all in our real nature. We are Shiva. To discover this Shiva within us, to discover this consciousness within us, to discover that actually I am Shiva, is the real meaning of Shivaratri. When this individual self unifies with the Supreme Self, when this Shakti, which is within the realm of vibration, it comes up, it develops, and the more it develops, the vibration grows lesser. And a time comes when it is bereft of any vibration whatsoever. And then Shakti without vibration is Shiva. Shiva within bondage is Jiva. And Jiva without bondage is Shiva. But in reality, Shiva can never be bounded. How can you bound the infinite? How can the one who is ever free, who is ever divine, who is ever beyond any vibration, can come within vibration, can come within bondage, can come within the limit? Never. It seems, but it never is. So, whatever we may feel ourselves, as small, as Jiva, as bonded, as these, we are in actually, in reality, in our real nature, we are Shiva, Shiva and Shiva and nothing else. To realize this, to energize this sleeping energy, to activate this sleeping energy, to activate this dormant spirituality or dormant divinity, and to develop gradually to that state where there is no vibration, is Shivaratri, the state or the time when the individual self merges with the Supreme Self and becomes one. And then we see that everything is Shiva. There is nothing else than Shiva. There is only consciousness and consciousness, nothing else.